We'll give people a couple of minutes to hopefully settle in and get logged on. I heard the link came through funny anyway, and otherwise you might get a private talk.
You see yeah, the link was fine for me. I just, got the thing, put it in my thing, and when my reminder popped up, I just went to the link and got right in. So, yeah, don't know. Okay, so hopefully other people, I guess people get busy, dinner, whatever.
People get it is dinner.
Yeah,
We've
I
tried
went,
different times. We've tried at 6. We've
um,
tried it like 7 or 7:30, and
yeah, and kids are going to bed and whatever. Yeah, it's tough. I get that it's tough. Yeah. I was at my computer anyway because I'm trying to finish a paper for someone or paragraphs for a paper that I'm doing with a bunch of other people. Basically trying to condense something I could write a book about down to 2 paragraphs. So it's
oh, that's hard.
yeah, yeah, it'd be easier to write the darn book. It's
I've
better.
given lots of lectures, and the hardest ones are where it's a very short period of time
Yeah,
to
and then
speak.
I hate those.
I could speak for 2 hours on a lot of topics, but when they say you have 20 minutes to talk,
Yeah,
that's really hard.
that's not good. And yeah, I almost won't do things anymore that, will give you 10 minutes for a speaker because it's just like, you bring up the topic and then you're done. It's like, what's the point?
Hmm. Hmm.
You know. So yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, well, hopefully, okay, there's another one.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's only a couple minutes after, and
yeah. We got to give people, you first sit down at 6, and then you got to get your
yeah.
computer
Oh
booted
yeah.
up and get into Zoom, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can be hard if people don't do it a lot. I mean, plus sometimes the links do come out squirrely. Like I was supposed to be on a Zoom call earlier today, and they sent a link, when I registered days ago. And so I tried to follow that. It wouldn't let me in. They sent another reminder thing that had a link, and that kept wanting me to register again. You know,
Hmm.
So, and I still couldn't get in. So it was only an hour talk. So by the time I got through all jumping through all those hoops, I just like, I'm 20 minutes in, I give up. Hopefully they recorded it. Maybe I'll get to see it some other time, but it's kind of annoying because I actually wanted to see that one. But, you know, but this was, yeah, no, this came through fine. And no problems, just clicked on the link and zip. So anyway,
We try. Things are
yeah.
so much less predictable in the age of Zoom than when we used to do these workshops in the office. So,
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Yeah, yeah, in person is much easier. But yeah, I actually used to work at a place where the IT department was so worried because of Zoom bombing when, in the really early days and all those Zoom bombing things, that they wouldn't let people have Zoom or use Zoom on their work computers. And the thing was that the department I worked in, we actually needed to use it because we were historic preservation. And so there were all these Zoom meetings for statewide, and Alaska's a big state. People aren't all going to fly to Anchorage every time. And so I would have to go home and use my personal computer to actually get on these things. And then we got our own internet separate from the borough's internet because the other thing they wouldn't let them do was post things to Facebook or have a Facebook account. But the thing was, this was the Inupiat History, Language, and Culture Department. And one of the things they did was that they took old videos that people donated and stuff, and they could actually digitize them because some of these were going to fall apart. Some of them were practically falling apart as he ran them through through the digitizing machine. So anyway, if they hadn't done it, they would have been gone. And so then they wanted to get it so people could see them in the community. It was their heritage, and so they were doing like 5-minute chunks. That people, they pick out good 5-minute chunks, but there was no way they could do it until they got their own separate internet connection. And then we use that for Zoom when when
all right. Anyway,
they're getting a few more people, hopefully.
let's see.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about myself, and then we'll
Yeah.
invite people if they feel comfortable to say who they are and why they're here. Anyway, I'm Dr. Rob Fox, and I'm the clinical director of Fox Vision Development Center in Latham here, right on Troy Schenectady Road, near the Schenectady border. And we're a specialty practice that really concentrates on two main areas. One is children with visual related learning problems. Um, and the other is neurooptometry, neuro eye care, people who've had strokes or brain injuries or other types of brain trauma, very often either from car accidents or sports or other things like that. And so we're not the kind of place you go to just to get an annual eye exam and a fresh pair of glasses. We work with a lot of these. We'll be talking here about the different types of learning problems kids encounter when their vision's not working. We're going to talk today about screen time is going to be the emphasis of this talk. And every time I think I'm done researching it, another article on screen time comes out. I'll show you. I have a couple of slides I've added yesterday and today because it was some new research that came out. So this is a very hot topic. The other hot topic is myopia or nearsightedness. This is where you need help from glasses or contacts to see far. That's being treated like an epidemic now by the American Optometric Association, and we'll touch upon that as well. So anyway, I've been doing this here for over 30 years. Started out in Schenectady, then Niskayuna, and now Latham. And I seem to keep moving east, but I hope to stay here until I retire. I'm really enjoying this location. It's very convenient. And we have a staff of several, I have 4 different therapists. I have 2 other patient care coordinators. We have a good time. We get to get on our hands and knees and work with these kids that have lots of issues. But the growing fastest growing portion of our patients are our adults, and many of them have computer-related vision issues. And we'll be delving into that today. We're a small group, so you could just, if you have a question, just pipe in, and we could take it as we go. And we'll hopefully have some solutions for you guys, being that computers are such a big part of our life. So anyway, Anne, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm one of Dr. Fox's patients of the adult sort. Yeah, I have various, it's unclear exactly why. I don't think I've had a brain injury, although I probably was oxygen deprived at one point due to another injury. But I was actually farsighted as a kid. Then I was nearsighted, and then, I had standard progressive, so I was fine. But lately, last few years, my vision has been acting really weird. I've had retinal detachment and a few other entertaining things, and the cataract removed. And anyway, my regular ophthalmologist just wasn't really getting it. So he was trying, but anyway, he recommended, several people actually recommended going to Fox Vision Development, and it's a much more complex prescription than I had before. They both are, but they have worked fairly well. Although I'm probably going to be making an appointment to see you because I think things have been going on with my eyes, but I'll go see the ophthalmology guy first so we can rule out or deal with stuff. But anyway, it's been a huge improvement. And I got exercises, which I, sort of IPT as well as various other PTs, I sort of view it as, but yeah, that has helped. I mean, it hasn't unfortunately made my vision perfect, but I didn't really expect that to happen.
Thanks for coming. Look forward to our next appointment with you.
Okay. Oh yeah. All right.
John, darling, did you want to introduce yourself?
He's a adorable player too.
Hi, I'm also a patient of Dr. Fox's of the adult variety. I've been a patient of Dr. Fox's since I moved to Niskayuna about 12 years ago. I'm an attorney. I read all day. I start looking at my computer about 7 o'clock in the morning, and because half of my clients are in California, I'm usually looking at it until about 7, 8 o'clock at night. And they still email me after that. And then they always apologize, knowing that I live in New York. So that's me.
Okay.
My vision's, I had laser surgery many years ago, but I wear these to read, and I just wear them all the time unless I'm playing golf. So
Okay.
I don't mind wearing glasses anymore because I'm a little older and not as vain as I used to be.
Yeah, I'm working with an adult golfer now who has came in initially seeing double, including two golf balls, and we finally got some single vision going just in time for golf season next month. So he's in a good mood. Okay.
Next month, boy, you're
Yeah,
optimistic.
yeah,
I know.
really.
Every time I think we're going to golf early, we get this late season snowstorm that just
Yeah.
pushes everything back another month.
Yeah, I mean, I live a couple blocks away from the golf course in Ballston. I don't really see people out, likely to be out there playing golf unless it gets really insanely warm for
Gonna be
more.
warm.
There's a lot of snow in some places. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
we have patients from Plattsburgh who had 15 inches of snow earlier this week.
Yeah.
wow.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so I'm going to put up my presentation here and we'll go through that. I'll have some fun here. Let's see. Share. Let's see if I can make this. Are we sharing? Do you see my screen?
Yes.
See your
Okay.
screen, yeah. Yeah, so probably just slideshow.
Yeah, I just, there we go. There we go. Ta-da. There we are. Okay, so screen time and your vision is the theme for today. So again, this was an article that came out in the Washington Post on Monday, and it said kids used to love screen time, then schools made Zoom mandatory all day long.
Yeah.
So
Those
it's
were the good old days.
yeah, yeah,
Trying to get your kids on the Google Meet at 9 a.m. on the dot. That was a year and a half of no fun.
not at all, not at all. And some schools are asking students to spend hours and changing how parents think about screen time. We used to have this rule years ago: an hour of screen time is all you should do, and then we went to 2 hours, and now it's like we give up. We just, we're going to try to do other things to deal with it. Um, there was another article that just came out today. I thought I had it on here. Hopefully, it'll come up later in the slideshow. But they say every time you add an hour of daily screen time, you add like another 15% to your nearsightedness. So that one just came out today. It was an interesting study. And these studies are now coming out really, really rapid fire. And the American Optometric Association, which has ignored like functional vision and non-pathology stuff, all of a sudden they said, "Ooh, this is like an epidemic. We need to lead the way and not be followers on this." So they've put together a task force on screen time and pediatric vision. So it's a very hot topic. So how'd we get here? Once upon a time, there weren't computers. We were outside tending to our animals, our crops, etc. We were out in natural light. We were moving around. We're upright. We're on our feet. We're mobile, and we really spent most of our time looking far away out there, and very little time looking at books up close. And this seems to be what our eyes are really best at and mostly designed for, is far viewing with occasional near viewing when you're doing some craft work or eating a meal or perusing something to read for a short time. Very different than what we do now. Things started to shift about 150 years ago, the Industrial Revolution. We moved from the country to the city, and we work shifted from the farm to the factory. And we started to use our eyes in very different ways. We're now under artificial lighting. We're now spending all our time in this 15 to 20 inch working distance, and we're seated and not moving. So you got a lot of factors going on at once, and things kept going from there. Then we introduced, excuse me, mandatory education, which is great. But now the kids who used to help out in the farm are now at a desk all day long, again looking at close, again not moving, again under artificial lighting. And this continued. And then computers came out, and this is a real picture of kindergartners in computer lab. And again, doing what their parents have been doing. Then we make it more fun. These tend to be games that the kids play with. And things kept getting smaller and closer. Now we use our phones for 90% of what we used to do on computers or by telephone. And this picture always disturbs me because I look at this girl's eyes, how they look like they're crossing in. This looks just very unnatural to me. And I don't know how anybody could do this for any kind of length of time. So, and I see parents when I want to, at the end of an exam, and I'll go, can we kick Johnny out of the room so we could discuss the case? And the mom takes her phone and hands it to the kid and says, keep yourself entertained, while I talk to the doctor. So it's ingrained in our society. It's really interesting now, like I watch reruns of old TV shows or old movies pre-cell phone, how different people communicated once upon a time. And this is the new classroom. This is the Zoom room, where you meet your friends and you play games and you learn in front of this computer. And what happens? Well, a lot of things could happen. This is not always an easy thing to do. Again, we talked about our eyes really being meant to look far away. And now we're looking up close, and not all of us handle this up close. And again, the pre-computer age, you might look at a book and you might look at something on your desk and you might pull out a pencil or put away an eraser or even a calculator. And now you just look at the same distance all day long without moving. And it's detrimental to the system. We have a system that is designed to move through space, not designed to be locked in the same position, looking at the same distance for 8 to 10 hours a day here. So what do people do about this when they encounter strain? One of them is to become nearsighted. You sort of recalibrate your system. You give up far vision to be better at looking up close. And it's a pretty sophisticated change. They've done studies on areas of the world where there are not electronics in terms of computers and televisions. and they find almost no nearsightedness there at all. As those countries develop and start to have the gifts of modern technology in terms of TVs, computers, phones, movies, within 2 generations, they have the same amount of nearsightedness as we do. They did this with Eskimos when Alaska became a state. They were able to document this, and so we definitely know close work results is a contributing factor to nearsightedness, and nearsightedness is a good way to cope with discomfort up close, where you're not functioning efficiently. Myopia, we got a lot of statistics now. We have in the 1990s, about 10 to 15% of the population was nearsighted. That was a number that probably was pretty steady for 30, 40 years. But then things really accelerated as we really got into the computer age. In 2018, over 40%. So it's 4 to 5 times the amount of nearsightedness that we used to have. And it continues to get worse. The other factors that are important, people are developing nearsightedness at younger ages. And the earlier you start, the higher your nearsightedness amount is going to be. So we're seeing people, and there's side effects and problems with that we'll talk about in a little bit. Oh, this was the one that just came out today. See, 225 published, came out yesterday. I meant to have this slide earlier. But the reports suggest that each hour a person spends on a smartphone or staring at a screen increases the risk of nearsightedness, with 21% higher odds of myopia, and more time each day is spent show that the risk of nearsighted is sort of maxes out for people who spend 4 or more hours on a computer every day. So again, this just came in. I didn't even get to click to the original article, but this came out in an AOA, American Optometric Association, email blast. This came out today. So this is happening very, very rapidly, and we have what we call CVS, or computer vision syndrome. And it could be headaches, it could be eye ache, it could be dry eyes. They've done studies and they show that people who are on a computer do not blink as frequently as people who are not on a computer. So again, they may have double vision. The all-time best or worst quote was this kid. This was the year after the pandemic. So again, classrooms were largely remote and Zoom in 2021. And this kid said his left eye feels like it's dying when he's on a computer. And I've had other people complain that they feel like they're looking at the sun when they're on the computer, even though it's as dim as they could make it. So blurry vision, headaches, discomfort, eye fatigue, light sensitivity, print appearing to move around on the page. And so it could be a whole variety of symptoms. What does double vision look like? Double vision doesn't necessarily mean you see 2 of things. It could mean things kind of float around or move around. You can see on the left, it's nice and crisp, but on the right, things only have to be off by a degree or 2 to cause serious discomfort and symptoms. How would you like to look at a screen like that all day long? You might be mislabeled as ADHD. Signs and symptoms include eye rubbing, eye twitching, staring behavior. Like I said, blink rate goes down. Headaches, very, very common. Very, very common. And, people often don't think to look at the eyes for headaches. They'll check their vision, and if your eyes are 20/20 far away, they check that box. We looked at the eyes. Um, I've had many patients who've been sent for MRIs just because they were having headaches related to vision problems on the computer. There's a common problem called a convergence insufficiency. That's where your eyes, again, don't pull in enough when you look up close. They want to look far. And I went to a lecture, and the doctor said that the number one cause of unnecessary expensive medical testing is the undiagnosed convergence insufficiency. So these patients often are very symptomatic, but I've had patients go to 2, 3, 4 eye doctors, and nobody ever checked their ability to use their two eyes up close. And we often have very success rate there. Yeah, Anne, you have a question? You're muted.
Temporary unmute function isn't working. I was just raising my hand because that's me in a nutshell.
So you'll vouch for a lot of these symptoms, right?
Yeah, yes, I will.
Well, thank you for saying something. Yeah. Again, a lot of people think that this is just what working on a computer is, and doesn't know you can do anything about it. So signs and symptoms continue, that covering an eye, closing an eye, tilting a head. You have a lot of people who said, yeah, I watch TV like this. It's easier when I turn my head to one side. Loss of place, letters floating around. Again, double vision may not always mean two of everything. Getting very close to the material, getting far from the material. And it may be associated with dizziness, nauseousness, or car sickness as well. We're seeing a lot of people now with, it's getting a lot of attention, what they call binocular vision dysfunction, where people have a lot of problems with motion, balance, etc. And they tend to be very symptomatic in motor vehicles as well. Double vision, blur, reading problems, focusing lag, that's like being sluggish, like looking up from your computer and needing several seconds or minutes till things are clear again at far. So not fun driving home in the middle of winter if you have that problem and the days are short. Again, what is a symptom? Just inability to concentrate, inability to stay focused. I want to tell you that I do a lot of our lectures these days are on Zoom. I feel very ADHD-ish when I'm on these computers for long periods of time. It's like I'm really good for like a half hour, 45 minutes, and then it's like, gee, should I check my phone? They don't know that they know I'm there, but they don't know what I'm doing. So I really can space out, and they definitely have shown that it does reduce efficiency in the classroom. What are visual negatives? We've kind of been talking about this as we go along. Lack of movement, poor use of peripheral vision, limited change of focus, possible blue light issues. We'll talk about blue light in a few minutes, but getting certain frequencies of blue light before bedtime can mess with your sleep cycles and wake you up and cause sleep problems. Visual hygiene. So there's lots of things you can do in terms of ergonomically adjusting your workspace. You should be about 20, 21 inches away from the computer. The top of the screen should be about equal to your eye level. If you want to think about it, just like when you think about it, take a nice couple of slow, complete blinks just to re-moisten the tear film. There's also developmental lenses and prisms. We'll get into this more in a few minutes. And including blue blocking tints, because we always get asked about that. That's a hot topic these days too. And when lenses and hygiene don't help, then you might need to do some optometric vision therapy or vision training. Again, these articles just keep coming out. This one's a few years old, but this was the impact of computer use on myopia development and childhood, the Generation R study. And again, just more of the same, more nearsighted, higher amounts. What they're finding is computers do contribute it, but you probably get more stimulation from looking at your phone and television as far as how much it contributes to your nearsightedness, where computers kind of rank third behind television and phone use. So we're still learning about this. Visual hygiene, again, you want your screen low. The lower the better. There's actually where I will say laptops are good because you can make them lower. Whereas used to be once upon a time, you had your big monitor on your desk and you were kind of looking up at it. You want a seat, you want a place where you could rest your feet a little bit, as you see here. You want lumbar support in your back. And what this doesn't also show is what's behind you. You don't want to you don't want to have your back by a bright window where the glare is just coming in off your screen and interfering with your ability to see things. Breaks are really important. This is the bare minimum break. They've been publicizing this 20-20-20 rule, where you take a 20-second break every 20 minutes and look at something 20 feet away. They've been advertising this as the be-all and end-all. This is the bare minimum. I like people to really look. The best thing to do is get up on your feet and walk around. This is take a trip to the water cooler. Go arrange your desk, arrange your furniture, move something. Maybe you could go to the restroom if you need to. But you want to really stretch and move. And we tell parents and our patients, you really need to look out a window if you can. Tough if you're in a cubicle, obviously, at work. But, if you're working from home, which many people are, including my daughter and my daughter-in-law, look out a window. Look beyond 20 feet. Look at something across the street, across your backyard, and try to break that cycle of being stuck at looking up close. This is a hot topic, which has now become a controversial topic. These are blue blocking glasses. Some of them have yellow tints. Some of them don't. They have many kinds now. When the pandemic hit, these were being pushed on everybody. I mean, I probably had 90% of my patients who got glasses in 2020 got blue blockers. It was supposed to have triple benefit. Number one, it's supposed to help with the sleep cycles by reducing the blue light coming in. Number two, it was supposed to protect the eye health, because blue light and retina was thought to be a contributor to macular degeneration or degenerative retinal issues. And was supposed to also greatly improve comfort by blocking out the blue light. And again, also affecting improving sleep habits. So now that we're sort of 5 years post-pandemic, the research results are starting to come in, and they're very mediocre. They're not proving to be the cure-all for everything. There are some studies that say it does almost nothing, and there are some studies that show it's possible that it may be helpful, but it definitely didn't improve. So we do find there definitely are patients who say it helps them be more comfortable, but don't expect, we're telling our patients now, it's very subjective. We'll put it in front of them on a flipper, a demonstration pair of glasses, and if it makes them feel better or feel they see better, we certainly prescribe it. Other than that, we don't push it nearly as much as we did 4 or 5 years ago because the study is kind of wishy-washy on this. So stay tuned. Like I said, articles are coming literally every day. There could be an article tomorrow that comes out and says, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We're really moving very quickly, and there's new stuff coming day after day after day on this. So even if you don't get blue blockers, you might benefit from glasses that help your eyes be more relaxed when you focus at this computer distance. Most people have bifocal lenses if they're over 40, and they have a top for looking far and a bottom for looking near, and they may have a narrow middle intermediate zone for looking at things like computers, but it's often limited. But often a specialty, if somebody spends more than 2 or 3 hours a day on a computer, they probably would benefit from a separate pair of glasses for working on a computer. These are actually a pair which have a very large intermediate so that I could do my job and spin my dials and be able to read the numbers because of my loss of focusing due to aging has started to impede on my ability to see at that particular distance. So we do prescribe a lot of what we call occupational lenses for people who spend all day on a computer, with or without. Again, the tint can be added in manufacturing. You can get that with or without that blue blocker tint. And something, again, you could talk with your optical place about. This is a child showing how lenses can affect things. Here she kind of gets close. And when she wears the proper lenses, her posture gets better because she's much more comfortable at this distance. The same thing, if you're struggling to see on a computer, you'll find yourself kind of being sucked in and getting close. And now your back starts to go, and now you start to need to see a chiropractor to get your back fixed when you really just needed the correct pair of glasses. We used to see this a lot more in the traditional bifocals, the lined bifocal that was just distance and near. See a lot of people tilt their head up and get close because those lenses are designed for 14 to 15 inches and the computer is 20. So there's a lot of other benefits to having the proper lens for working on a computer for the proper distance. And after we go through hygiene and tints and prescriptions and lenses and blue blockers, if we're still symptomatic, we may need to go through a course of optometric vision therapy. It's like physical therapy for the eyes, and it's retraining the system to be as efficient as possible when it comes to focusing, eye teaming, eye movements, so that being able to spend all time on a computer during the day is no longer a stressful thing for you to do because you're so skilled at using your eyes as a team and working at various distances. So this kid only has a patch on his left eye. People always ask me, is he patched on the right eye too? No. He's got one eye patched, and he's putting a pegboard into some holes on this rotator as it spins around. This child is working on something called the Brock string, and he's learning how to, again, converge his eyes better. What did I say? Leading cause of unnecessary medical tests, which he actually called a walletectomy, which I thought was a great term. Leading cause of walletectomy is the undiagnosed convergence problem. And we're seeing these kids having symptoms and problems. I saw a 6-year-old today with near point vision problems. And we're doing more and more work and more computer work at younger and younger ages. So, and if you're going to work on a computer, you could do some optometric vision therapy on a computer. This is something called the home therapy system out of, I think they're out of California. And they say, we're going to actually, you're in front of the computer, you might as well do some exercises in front of your computer. And this child is working on improving their convergence through wearing special red-blue glasses. And if his eyes are working together, a target in this box of dots looks like it pops up at you or moves around. We could add sounds so it's like a video game. It makes it very entertaining. When should you go to the eye doctor? If it's been a year since your last exam, again, visual demands, probably in the past we would have said 2 years, but nowadays, if you're spending time on a computer, you should probably get examined once a year. Times when eyes change the most, well, school age 2nd through 4th grade, are when nearsightedness pops up, but we're seeing kids now where it used to be mostly 3rd and 4th grade, we're seeing a lot of 1st and 2nd graders, even kindergartners developing nearsightedness. And as you get older, the next time things change the most is in your 40s, when your arms start to get a little too short and you need a little help seeing things. I know John here got his LASIK, so he sees wonderfully at far, but the trade-off was having a little more difficulties at near. But it was, he did well.
It was worth it.
It was worth it. I was going to say, almost everybody says it's worth it.
It was so worth it.
Almost everybody, yep. Recent onset of blur, headaches, or eye strain. Again, your primary care doctor is not really set up to test these. He may check your acuity and tell you everything's fine, but everybody in this computer age, again, there may be new tints and new procedures and new types of lenses available. We already have newer types of lenses designed for bifocal use in the under 40 age group. There's some cool, they call them digital lenses, that it's not quite a bifocal, just gives you a little bit of assistance at near. And so there's always something new, and being able to visit your eye doctor yearly lets you hop on that train for taking advantage of new technology. Increased attention, decreased attention, increased behaviors. Again, you may start to feel like you're ADHD. You can't concentrate. You're rereading things. Your comprehension goes down. Maybe you have some vision changes. And of course, we could be preventive. If you're spending, 2, 3, 4 hours a day, we can get you some lenses that would make you the most efficient and comfortable, and try to keep you from developing progressive nearsightedness as well. You can use lenses preventatively. This is my contact information. And it used to be FCOVD. We used to be members of the College of Optometrists in Vision Development, but rehab and adult care has really accelerated in its need for developmental vision care. So we changed our name to the Optometric Vision Development and Rehab Association, because we're much more encompassing than just vision development, and which kind of people associate with more pediatric care. So you get more information. Our website is foxvisiondevelopment.com, or you can send an email to info@foxvisiondevelopment.com, and we'll be happy to take care of you. But it was fun to research this, but I said the problem is every time I went back to it, there were more slides to add. And like I said, one of them I added this morning. So any questions? Thank you for coming.
Yeah, when you talk about the intermediate section of, I have progressive lenses. And as I go about my day, I can, you know, tell when I need to like readjust my, you know, my looking angle. But as far as like the actual intermediate section of the lens, is that something you can put in a prescription, or is that covered by like where you put in the how much magnification and the
Yeah,
other things that go into actually creating the lens?
yeah. The written prescription is actually the same.
Okay.
It's each lens has its own kind of way you measure it to get the correct portion in front of the correct part of the eye. So so that you're able to take advantage of the lens. And very often we can, if we have a patient who is, like working on a computer many hours, we might recommend a specific type of progressive lens. This is one called Home and Office. Like I said, it's got sort of a little bit of distance on top,
Mhm.
moderate amount of reading on the bottom, and a big intermediate zone here. And so if I want to read, I can tip my head down to read the scrolling on the TV. But just walking around, I would have trouble doing that with that lens. And so there's just again the optical companies, the lens manufacturers know this is a big issue, so they're trying. There's lots of new tech out there. There's a lens called the Sync lens, and there's another one I forgot. I'll think of the other name, but there's a few out there, and there's more coming all the time.
Mhm.
And something to discuss with when you get your glasses with the people that filled that prescription.
Yeah, when I got mine, I actually have two pairs. This is the pair that I normally use for the computer, and basically, when my head's more or less level to about here to anywhere up, um, I'm looking through something that's fine for my computer. If I go down, yeah, and I don't really notice any difference when I drop, so it doesn't sound like it's exactly the home and office thing. If I tip my head back, yeah, things start to blur. That's reading distance. But I have another pair of glasses that you gave me, which are probably even more complex. But I have to be about here for the computer to look right.
Mhm.
And for reading things, I got to be about, there's a
Yeah,
very
every
small lens. It's a little tough, but I mostly wear these for outside for driving. So I can see dashboard out there and I can read if I need to.
right.
But having two pairs is really the only thing, because otherwise I'd have to have glasses. I think they would have to be monstrous to have enough
Yeah,
space because I read fast. So
everything is a trade-off. If you make
yeah,
the intermediate bigger, you have to take away from either the reading and or the distance. If
yeah.
you
Well, this pair,
want
I
a
think
big,
there is no distance. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
there's
we do
just
that a
no,
lot. We do that a lot where it's kind of like the computer is on top and the reading is on the
yep,
bottom,
that's,
and
and it works great. So
and it tends to work very well because that gives you a really big
yeah,
reading zone,
exactly.
big
It does.
computer zone.
It does. It's
Yeah,
great. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I only had the other pair. I would be I'd be doing this a lot.
yeah. But I said everything's a compromise, and what works for you may not work for John.
No,
You know,
no, I know, but if it's certainly worth thinking about if he's.
yeah.
You do have to have a separate pair of glasses or a couple pairs. I'm actually contemplating getting two of these,
Like
and
I
I.
said, people who spend more than 2 to 3 hours a day are candidates for some occupational lens, be it a progressive lens, or I've even had some of the younger people who are just developing um, presbyopia, which is that loss of age-related loss of focusing. May just need to wear a very mild pair of reading lenses, and that'll work for 98% of what they need to do. So as
Yeah.
you age, the lenses tend to get less forgiving for you as you need to make the reading portion stronger.
Yeah,
So,
well, and you need more. I mean, I was farsighted, had to wear glasses to read when I was a little kid. And then someplace, I don't know, middle school, I was done with glasses, get to college, sitting in the back row because I got to class late of something saying, why is this person writing so tiny on the board? And people are like, what Ian? They're writing normal. So I went to the eye doctor and now I was nearsighted. So I had to have, I had to have glasses for that.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Okay.
Does
Excellent.
does focus lag get progressively worse with age, or does it get to a certain? Because I read all day. That's what I do for a living, and because lawyers love to try to make everything fit on one page, I read a lot of like 6-point font, and then I read a lot of 12-point font, and that's how I first noticed my vision. I had laser surgery when I was 33. And about the time I turned about 45 or 6, it was focus lag that kind of woke me up to the fact that my eyes were, needed to be, looked at. And I read all 7 Stephen King Dark Tower books on my iPhone 4, which is probably not a good idea. But does it get to a point where, that lag is, just stays the same
Yeah,
amount?
usually things level off sometime in
Okay.
the 50s.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Because I'm
but
57 right now.
there are some people, I've had some motivated patients. We've given them some exercises, just kind of practice looking near to far, one
Mhm.
eye, both eye, one eye, the other eye, both eyes. And just that you can practice that to maximize it.
Okay.
You're never going to bring back the focusing you had before.
Yes.
But there was a doctor, John Streff, out of Ohio, who said people of all ages should do focusing work, that there's a benefit to doing it. There's more to it's complex, and the more flexibility you can maintain in the system, the more comfortable you'll be. So,
Okay.
good question.
Yeah, it does, it's just for me that, that's what I notice the most, because like I said, I do read. I mean, I'm 57, I like to print things out. And I get stuff like this from, from
Oh,
people, and it's like, okay. I mean, I have I have one of these devices, that I put over it's how I read. And so, but yeah, just the annoyance of it, I guess. As long as it doesn't get worse, I probably will manage to survive it. But glad to hear it levels off.
it does, it does. But like I said, every lens has a compromise, and what works for you may not work for Anne. And the lens companies say, "Oh, this is the be all end all lens," and I try a pair myself, and I go, "Ugh,"
beans,
you know.
yeah.
Um,
I have
so
a call coming in from my son, so I have to take
okay,
that.
thanks for coming. Have a
Thanks,
good.
Dr. Fox. I'll see you in a while.
Okay, be well.
Hello. What's up? I'm
He's trying to sign that. There he goes.
That's,
I was going to say we almost got to be part of his phone call.
yeah, really.
Well, thank you for coming, Anne.
Yeah, thank you for
Love
doing
seeing
this.
you again.
And yeah, I've got to make an appointment. I've got to.
We recorded
Yeah.
this. We're going to try to put this out here and see if we can
Oh,
get
that's
some more
good.
eyes to look at it.
Well,
It's
that's good.
fun. It was actually fun.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it and I think it was helpful and I'm definitely coming back. I got
Yeah, no, appreciate it.
travel and just, yeah,
Okay.
papers and
So I wish you,
conferences and
I
all
wish
that
you
happy stuff. So for the next couple of months, it's just crazy. So anyway,
I
hopefully,
wish you a good evening.
well, same to you.
I'm gonna go
And
grab some dinner, I guess.
yes, I better go see about that. All righty, take care. Thank
Take
you very
care.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.